What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in to the Queen's Lounge podcast. I am your homegirl, Shay. And of course, I have with me another special guest on today as we are continuing our mentee interviews this month of February for nurses and healthcare professionals. Listen, this one here is phenomenal. She's awesome. I've known her for a few years now. And she is of age where she can actually introduce herself. So I'm going to bring her in. Ma'am, please let the people know who you are.
Hello, everybody. My name is Krishelle Ivory. I'm a nurse practitioner in the Kansas City area.
Yay! Listen, okay, so please give the audience your credentials. Please let us know what school you attended, the
Okay.
degrees, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so nurse practitioner. I went to undergrad at Graceland University, graduated from there, then went to graduate school at Maryville University, based out of St. Louis, and took boards and everything, and became a
Yes.
certified nurse practitioner. So,
Yay! That is so phenomenal. We're not even gonna talk about how long it takes. Okay, like the
that
schooling
part.
part of it. Like, and I'm pretty sure it took several years. So you got the 4 years of school, of high
hmm
school, and then
hmm
all the additional years after that. So what
Yep.
was your total amount of schooling?
6.5 years. So four
Oh
years
my lord.
for bachelor's, and then 2.5 years for my master's. So a total of 6.5 years.
Oh my goodness. And the
Yep.
fact that you have not aged, okay? The fact that you don't have any gray hair says a lot.
Amen.
That says a lot. Okay, so without
Yeah.
further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get into the questions. So my
Okay.
first question is, how do you ensure that your patients have exceptional their healthcare experience?
So, they come in with me, they have an appointment, they have a concern. I diagnose them, I treat them, but just making sure that all their questions are answered. So
Mm-hmm.
before they leave, like, do you have any questions about, what we talked about today? The medicine that I sent with you or that I'm prescribing for you, do you have any questions about that, the side effects? So it's just making sure that, the patients leave with all their questions answered, that they're not left wondering or like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't really understand what she said and so forth. So just making sure all the questions are answered.
Now, do you work in the like a clinic or a hospital
So I actually
or?
work in urgent care. I work in the hospital, but
Oh,
I work in
cool.
urgent care, so emergency medicine. So my visits are very like, hey, I'm here for, cough congestion of
Uh-huh.
the nose, or I'm here for, a UTI or something. So very quick, short, quick visits, and kind of hit it and quit it, and then that's
Mm-hmm.
that. Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that makes for a very balanced day
Mm-hmm.
because I know oftentimes schedules with doctors can get very complex. The
Yes,
amount of patients, what they have to
yes,
be treated for, that type of thing. So it doesn't leave a lot of time for self. It doesn't leave a lot of time for family. And so,
absolutely.
how have you balanced that pretty good?
Yeah, so I think the one thing I do love about urgent care is when I leave work, right? I
Mm-hmm.
don't have to come home and chart. I don't have to come home and kind of review cases or anything like that. Like I see my patients probably 20 to 30 a day, given
Okay.
the amount of how busy it is that day. But I leave it all there. So when I go on vacation, when I like at the end
Yes.
of the day, it's just there. I don't have to worry about anything else when I leave work. So
You have a dream job because I don't know too many people that could actually leave work and actually leave work at work.
yes, yes. I don't check
So
emails. I
I know
don't I
that's
don't do
right.
anything. Like when I get home, I am home. So that is
Yes. That is the epitome of leave work at work.
yes,
Okay?
absolutely.
Let that be what it's going to be. Okay, my next
Absolutely.
question. What are some challenges of minority nurse practitioners?
Me personally, so one, I'm a woman, right? I'm a
Yes.
woman. I'm one of the youngest providers in my clinic or where I work, and I'm also
Wow.
Black, right?
Right.
So when I first started with this position, there was one other African American doctor,
Mm-hmm.
and he's a male and he's older. There were no
Ah,
other
yeah.
no other providers that were a minority.
Mm-hmm.
So I came in like, I mean, obviously you have a little chip because you just want to make sure that like they understand, they respect you, and that you
Right.
deserve to be in that space, right? And so
Absolutely.
it's something that I take with me every day, kind of like essentially, because
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I'm the youngest. I'm a woman, so I have three things going against me when I go
Yeah.
into work. So
Yeah.
it's a
I know
challenge.
I had an interview with Monique last week
hmm
and we were talking about how short of a group that nurse practitioners are.
Hmm.
But they're a bigger group than actual nurses, minority nurses.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? That make a lot of sense. So I guess people are more so going for the bigger degree
Hmm.
versus just the nurse, just stopping at just being a nurse.
Uh-huh.
Um, I think that it is amazing when I can see a minority woman
Hmm.
in the forefront of being a nurse practitioner. Like I
Yes,
think
because
that's amazing.
it's a male dominated industry, right? Male dominated industry,
Yeah.
um, a Caucasian industry, right? And
Uh-huh.
so when you see, a minority, a young minority, a woman at that, it does bring a lot of excitement or a lot of
Yeah.
courage. I'm happy that that I'm able to do this. So
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Do you feel like as a minority nurse practitioner that you have to go above and beyond? Because you
sometimes it
are,
depends.
because you have those three factors kind of working
Yeah,
against you.
sometimes, but again, I just go back to I went to school, right? I
Right,
took
right.
exams, I graduated, I passed boards, right? So I absolutely deserve
Absolutely.
to occupy this space that I am in. And so I
Mm-hmm.
think I just take that with me every day, when I see patients or when I see my coworkers and my counterparts, it's like, oh, I absolutely deserve to sit right next to you and take care of these same patients that you take care of. So,
Yes.
mhm.
Yes. And I think it speaks volumes when there's a woman that has so many things that can work against her, but yet she flips it.
Oh
And like
yeah,
you just said, standing bold in the position, being
absolutely.
affirm in your position and letting it be
Absolutely.
known without even opening up your mouth, but your presence. A
Absolutely.
strong presence. You know what I mean? I'm about to be bold in this
Absolutely.
position because listen,
Absolutely.
6.5 years of this,
You're gonna respect
okay?
that, okay?
Exactly. I deserve to be
Absolutely.
here. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I completely understand that. And I know that's gotta be um challenging just being the youngest one amongst
Hmm.
all of those, seasoned or
Hmm.
older, nurse practitioners. Do you have anybody that kind of like help or kind of like, I don't want to say mentor because you guys kind of have the same credentials, but
Oh yeah, no.
that kind
I
of help
have
you along the way?
no problem asking for help. Like if there's a case that I don't understand, or how
Mm-hmm.
would you treat this, or what do you think about that? I have no problem, asking for help, and my counterparts have no problem educating me or coaching me either. So I mean, that's how
That's
I grow. That's how
awesome.
I learn, right? Like I'm not gonna
Yes.
see. I'm all the things that we talk about in textbooks or in schools. You talk about it in textbooks and schools until you see it in the real world.
Right.
You actually have no idea. You know what I mean? What it
Yeah.
looks like, how to treat it until you come across it. So, yeah, I have no problems, and my counterparts are great. Yeah, they
That's
answer my
awesome.
questions. They sometimes have questions too, like what's the new evidence showing how to
Uh-huh.
treat such and such. And so, coming from a younger standpoint. So
Yeah.
it goes both ways.
Yeah, I think that's one of the plus sides of working with people that have been in the same field as you for as
Absolutely,
long as they have, because
absolutely.
they've kind of seen it in the beginning of things. And then as medicine has grown and
Hmm.
medicine has, they've come up with so many different ways of treating things that they're able to see that side of it as well. So I think it's
Absolutely.
kind of a plus to be able to have someone that's young like you to be
Mhm.
able to put them on game.
Yeah,
You know what I
absolutely.
mean? So
Absolutely.
that works out on both sides. So
Yeah.
I can see how that works. Okay. So my next question is the role and responsibilities of a nurse practitioner. What would
Okay.
those be?
So, I mean, honestly, it's essentially the same as a doctor. I just don't have the
Okay.
doctor title in my name, right?
Hmm.
Patients come, they have something wrong. I can diagnose them, I can treat them, I can send medicine to the pharmacy. I can suggest supportive care if
Hmm.
no medication is needed. I can suture, I can do pap smears, like
Wow,
I
that's
can literally
awesome.
do it all. I just, I can't do surgery and stuff like that. That's not my specialty, but
Right.
I essentially can do everything a doctor or MD, a DO can do without the title.
That's amazing. So no
Yeah.
doctorate, huh? You don't want to go to extra.
I, I it's literally it's been there in like the kind of the back of my mind, like, oh, maybe I'll go back to school and see, but
Yeah.
mm, I'm
It's
still
never
gonna
too
be
late. You never know what
I
happened.
know, I know. I mean, just for the title though, and the pay increase. Now that pay increase will be good, but
Yes,
I
yes.
mean, yeah,
I
I don't know.
understand
We'll
that. That's
see.
cool. I've always wondered because I always see nurse practitioners more than I see
Mhm.
the doctors.
Exactly.
So is it the same place where you work now? I know for my son, his doctor actually has a nurse practitioner that'll
Yep.
come in and give us the whole spiel. We'll
Yep.
see him for a couple seconds. She'll debrief him, and
Yep.
that's about it.
Hmm.
And I'm just like, okay, well,
Yeah.
I might as well just talk to the nurse practitioner.
Exactly. So where I am right now, we do have like an MD or DO that works with us. They try to staff one every shift.
Uh-huh.
But essentially all of us are either physician assistants or nurse practitioners. So there's usually
Wow.
one doctor, and then all the rest of us are nurse practitioners, physician assistants. And then to your point about, patients are seeing more nurse practitioners than they are their regular doctors, is because
Mm-hmm.
the doctors are overwhelmed, right?
Yeah.
People are living longer. People are sicker. You can't get in to see your
Mm-hmm.
doctor. So then you have us, us mid-level providers, who come in and step in and still can provide that good quality care that they're getting, that they would get from seeing their regular doctor. So
That's amazing. I think
mhm.
also in some cases, and you can probably attest to this a little bit more than I can, but I think in some cases if it's minor or it's not needful for a doctor to come in and check or to see, it's
Mhm.
always good that a nurse practitioner is there to kind of give the okay.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I
I
mean?
know. So it's kind of twofold, because some patients are like, "Oh, I don't want to see a nurse
Hmm.
practitioner. I want to see an MD or DO," and you're like, "That's fine, okay," but
Yeah,
you understand that that same DO or that same doctor trained me, right? So
correct.
pretty sure the same thing that I'm going to tell you, they're probably going to say the same thing. But if you prefer
Absolutely.
to hear it from them, go for it. Like, you know what I
Yes,
mean? It's no sweat off my back, but you do understand we go through training and the doctors train us, so we're
correct.
not going to tell you what that what they wouldn't tell you themselves. So I think that's awesome.
Right. Right. Okay, so question, what is the standard time that you're able actually to see a patient? Because with having so many in a day, I know
Hmm.
that time is limited, but you also want to make sure that the patient gets the best care they can. So,
Sure.
what
So
is
our
the standard time that a patient will actually be seen?
so about 30 minutes.
Okay.
Like acute visit, like, they come in, quick assessment, this is what's going on. You
Hmm.
want a few labs, a few things here and there, but about 30 minutes and then in and out. So, and I think that's, like I said, that's the beauty for me of being in urgent care, is that
Yeah,
quick, fast pace, hit it and quit it. Like, this is what I'm here for. This is what I need. And you get it. And that's it. So,
absolutely. I
mhm.
love that. Okay, so my next question is, how have nurse practitioners contributed to healthcare?
Yeah, so that kind of goes back to the point that I was saying, doctors are getting overwhelmed, right? It's
Hmm.
harder and harder to see your doctor, for primary care visits or what have you. And so nurse practitioners have stepped in to relieve some of that pressure, and can do it well, right? Um,
Right. Right.
as of last year, there's an estimated 355,000 licensed nurse practitioners in the United States. So the
Wow, that's
practice of the
impressive.
profession is definitely growing.
Yeah.
And like I said, as people are living longer, Americans are getting more access to healthcare. Um, they're going to need nurse practitioners,
Hmm.
wives, physician assistants to offset some of that load. So it's
Yeah,
definitely a good profession to
absolutely.
get
I'm sure it is. Now, you
in.
know what? It might be a good idea for me, but I'm already, kind of in the middle of that. So I'm gonna stick with what I'm in school for, and I'm gonna let you have that. My next question it was gonna be during COVID. Were you guys
Mhm.
actively working during COVID, and how did that? I know that had to be stressful.
Is very stressful.
Yes.
And so you have to deal with COVID at work, people coming in, getting tested, all the things. But on the back end, you have to make sure you're coming home healthy as well, right? And I
Yeah.
actually had a newborn
Right.
in 2000. Well, he was born in 2019, but COVID hit in 2020.
Right.
So I went back to work in the heart of it, in the heat of it. In March, April, maternity leave was up, right? I'm back to work.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
gearing up. I'm testing people. I'm swabbing people. People are coming in distress, and so I'm dealing with all that. But then at the same time, I'm
Hmm.
coming home like, well, I have to make sure I'm healthy for my own
Right.
family, for myself. And so it
Right.
was very hard. COVID was very hard on a lot of people, on healthcare in general. So yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure COVID is still a thing now, although it's not really talked about. Although a
Hmm.
lot of people are not really getting sick as
Hmm.
big as it was when the pandemic was happening the year after that. But I can only
Hmm.
imagine how stressful and how time consuming it was to
Absolutely.
be any type of physician during
Hmm.
the time of COVID. My
Absolutely.
hearts went out to you guys
Mhm.
because
It was definitely stressful.
I'm sure you guys are already limited. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's already a short number of you all. And then not
Hmm.
only that, but you have so many patients that you have to see because people were getting sick back to back.
The lines were like out the door. Wait
Oh my
times were
gosh.
so long because people like you can't just swab somebody and go, right? They have these issues, so
Yeah.
you have to test them and listen to them and check their lungs and make sure. So it was very stressful.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot.
Hmm.
Woo! You good, girl. You good. Okay, so I got one more question for you.
Okay.
So us being women,
Okay.
things personally may not affect us, but we do know
Sure.
women who it may affect.
Sure.
And I know that you have got buzz or gotten word of the Roe versus Wade being
Mm-hmm.
overturned.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to be honest,
Mm-hmm.
being a woman that struggled with infertility, I didn't understand at the time
Mm-hmm.
why a woman would make the decision to give up a
Mm-hmm.
baby or to, make the necessary decision that she felt she needed to at the
Mm-hmm.
time because of what I personally was going through. But then
Sure.
when I thought about it, I was like, you know what? There's so many different other reasons and circumstances why women need to make such a urgent decision or for it to be
Yes.
taken away from us without having our consent
Mm-hmm.
and us having to just comply. I didn't like that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like that at all. So what's your thoughts? What do you think about that being a woman who it
Yeah.
may not affect personally, but especially as a nurse practitioner?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when that day came, that news broke, I was quite shocked, not
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, from a Christian standpoint and spiritual standpoint, obviously, we don't believe in
Yes.
abortion. Like,
Absolutely.
every picture is a blessing, every baby's a blessing, so forth. But then
Yes.
on the medical side of it, this is actually
Right.
a procedure that can save a woman's life, right?
Literally.
And
Literally.
why has that happened to me? I do have girlfriends who have had to have
Yeah.
this type of procedure done, and it saved their life, right?
Yeah.
They have other kids at home. They have a husband. They have, you know what I mean? But in this situation, it was life or death.
It was necessary.
So
Yeah.
it was definitely necessary. So for you to tell us, oh, can't help you, so
Hmm.
sorry for you. It's like, no, that's not how this works. And
Right.
who are you to say what I can do or what anybody can do with their body, right? Um, so that's definitely a touchy subject. Um,
Yeah, it
I
is.
I don't believe that you should be able to govern what anybody does, what any decision anybody makes.
I agree.
Um,
I agree.
I think it should just be left alone. Like, just leave it alone
Absolutely. I
and
agree.
mind your
I
business.
definitely agree. Yeah.
Right?
I
Isn't
feel
that
like
what
it, yes. And it was so many other things that could have been fixed or addressed or,
they say?
things that are dire need
Absolutely.
besides, trying to micromanage a woman's body. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Poverty levels at an all-time low or an all-time high. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? We're in a recession, groceries and cost of living and you know what I mean? Like so many other great bigger things that need to be
Hmm.
addressed, that need to be looked
Hmm.
at that you bypassed
Exactly.
just
Exactly.
to overturn a century-year-old bill
Mm.
that had no and then I feel like it's gonna cause so many other problems.
It is.
Because
It
yeah,
will.
the
Because
conversation I was having,
now it's gonna be people are well, either people are gonna travel to different states to
uh-huh.
have the procedure done, or people are gonna die at home from doing
Yeah.
the procedure themselves, or having somebody come and do the procedure at home because
Mm-hmm.
they can't get it done in the healthcare. So
Absolutely.
it's either gonna affect people, pretty badly.
Absolutely.
So
I feel like we as women, I feel like we should have had a voice
mm,
in this situation. You know what I mean?
hmm
Because I feel like it was literally taken away from us.
hmm
You literally
absolutely.
snatched. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You
from
literally
a from a
snatched.
table full of old white men
You
who
know what I
ain't got
mean?
nothing to do with nothing.
Who
Can't
can't even get
can't birth a
pregnant?
baby, can't have a baby, can't nurse a baby.
I'm
Like
saying. I'm
what
saying.
we can do with our bodies. Like, yeah, yeah.
It's frustrating, it's
Mhm.
disappointing, you know what I mean? To
Mhm.
feel like you can just go through a list of bills and feel like you just have the authority to just do.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
government of the USA, okay, is something else.
It's
It
something
really,
else.
it really is something else. It behooved me.
Hmm. That's a
It
good
really,
one.
really
Behooved
did.
me. Behooved me.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Okay. I was behooved because I was like, wait a minute.
Uh-huh.
The first time I heard it, it was passed in Texas. I was like, okay, well, that's a Texas thing, whatever.
Sure.
It's a predominant,
Sure.
red state or whatever anyway. So I kind of get that. then when I started hearing it being passed everywhere else, I was like, well, wait a minute now. Y'all
Mm-hmm.
serious? Like this is a thing
Mm-hmm.
for real? Like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe that. Now I know that me as a woman may not affect me personally, but like you mentioned, I do have women that I know
Yeah.
that it was necessary to save their lives. It was necessary, because the baby, something was up with
Mm-hmm.
the baby or wrong with the baby. So it was necessary. It was either them or the baby. You know what I
Right.
mean? And a choice there had to be made.
And they
And
didn't take it
so,
lightly, right? I don't I think that's the misconception that some people may
yes,
have, is like, oh, women went into this so lightly, like, oh, they didn't care, or what have
yeah,
you. And no, absolutely not.
yeah,
Like I said, I know women personally. It hurt them, right? They
yeah,
therapy sessions for it. They had to deal
yeah,
with the loss. They had to tell their other family members, like, hey, you know what I mean? And
absolutely.
you give this good news, right? And then
Hmm.
along the way, now you have to give the bad news, right? So it's not just
Right.
affecting the woman; it affects all the people that are surrounded with her, or connected to her. So I think that's one of the misconceptions that really bother me as well. It's like, you think people took this lightly, or you think women handle this lightly?
Exactly.
Absolutely not.
Exactly. And I think it's harder for a woman. It's exciting when a woman finds out she's pregnant, but I think it's harder to
Yeah,
have to go through the grief.
abs-
You know what I mean? Because you
absolutely.
felt, depending on when you miscarried or lost the baby, or
Hmm.
had, to have surgery to have the baby removed, depending on how long you've carried through the process, that's everything that you felt
Hmm.
that you no longer feel. And I feel like they
Absolutely.
just had no sympathy
Hmm. And
whatsoever.
to piggyback what you said earlier, you kind of struggle with infertility. So
Uh-huh.
you have the mom who has now finally said, yes, I am pregnant. I have
Yes.
this baby. I'm so excited, right? And
Yes.
then a few months later, a few weeks later, it comes back like, hey,
Yeah.
you can't do this. Baby's not viable. Like, you're gonna have to abort, or whatever, whatever the case is.
Right.
And so I think it's twofold. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you can't just they start to question themselves too, like, well, what's wrong with me as the woman? Like, why can't I carry this baby? Like, and now you have to topple it, on top of that, say it's
Yeah.
illegal. You can't do that. You're gonna die.
Yep.
Like, you have to die now. Like, no, like, it can't work like that. It's
I
not good.
really want to know what the thought process was.
Right.
What did they consider? Who did they talk to?
Right.
Did they even look at the old bill? You know what I mean?
Right.
I want to know how
Or is
they
it
came up
all
with this
just
conclusion.
political? All political.
It's got to be.
My horse is bigger than your horse. Like,
Yep.
of course,
Yep.
yeah. It has nothing to do
It's
with
got
the
to be.
actual American people or American women at all.
Not at all. And it
Mm-hmm.
affects all ethnicities. You know what I mean? It affects all
Mm-hmm.
types of women, all
Mm-hmm.
different walks of life. You know what I mean? I really wish I could have been in this Congress meeting, or
Have a
meeting with the
seat at
people
the
that's
table. Sit me at
on.
the
I
table so
mean,
I can understand
let me
what
pull
y'all
up a chair, okay? Let me pull up a chair, because I
at the
feel like
table.
you need to really hear this from a woman's mouth.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
I think it's what majority of the board were men,
Mm-hmm.
and it was maybe one woman. You couldn't speak up for us, sis. You a whole woman,
Mm-hmm.
possibly have children,
Mm-hmm.
possibly have grandkids,
Mm-hmm.
all of that good stuff. And
And
you,
not even that, you're a woman who possibly also has a daughter who could
yes,
also one day be in the same situation. And
yes.
it just baffles me. It behooves me. Like, it baffles me.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That it affects, and I don't think that that's something they consider either. Once they change these laws, and once they do
Mhm.
bills like that, that the people that are changing them, it affects you too, because you're a part of the
Absolutely.
United States. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
This stuff that you're changing, the bills that you're signing in, and things like that, it affects you as well. It affects your family members. So you are not
Absolutely.
considering the fact that you have a family as well, that this is also affecting, but you're
Absolutely.
too concerned about the millions of other people who you feel like you have a right to just snatch
Govern.
the,
Hmm.
yes. Listen, I'm behooved, okay? I'm behooved.
Absolutely.
I really, really am. I am behooved, but hey,
I'm
it is
curious where
it.
it's gonna go, because I think, like, some states have still have
Mm-hmm.
it that that the procedure can still be done. So I'm curious where this
Yes.
is gonna go. Obviously elections are coming up, and
Mm-hmm.
things are changing every day. So I am curious. Definitely something that I'll keep my eye on, and
Yeah.
so.
This makes me fearful for my son.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? This makes me fearful for what other bills they're considering overturning.
Right.
You know what I
Hmm.
mean? What other crazy bills they're considering putting in. into effect. Because when it not only comes to my local stuff, but when it comes to my, statewide stuff,
Right.
my government wide stuff, that stuff affects me. You know what I mean? And it not only affects me, but it affects my family. It affects my,
Right.
my other family members that are not living in my home. And so for them to just not consider all the factors, but just look at the one spectrum of it, which is we got too many babies dying. So this is the
And
conclusion.
we have too many babies dying, but we also have too many kids in foster care. We also have too many kids. It's just like, come on, man, make it make sense. So, yeah, I don't.
And it just doesn't.
Make it make sense.
And it just doesn't make sense at all. And it's bananas.
Yeah.
It is really bananas. But hey, it is what it is. If that's what we have to deal with, then that's just what we have to deal with. I really wonder if later on down the line, a few, years from now, if they will reverse it again. Or if they're just gonna leave it the way that it is.
That's a good question. And I'm not sure. That's a good question. And then if they're going to leave it like up to the state themselves,
like a state by state type of thing. Yeah,
I'm not
because
sure.
because I feel like as a government, as the United States of the USA, I feel like the bill that you overturned, this is what you're going to stick with. I feel like this is it.
Yeah.
But since it's a state by state thing, I wonder if they're leaving it up to the states. Like I hope they don't try to micromanage or govern the states that are choosing not to do it, or that have stipulations on whether you can or can't, depending on the situation or the circumstance, which I feel is a better fit than just saying we're not doing it at all.
Like not at all. Yeah. That's a good question. I don't know. That's a great question. I'm curious. I'm curious to see. Maybe it may be like a presidential thing, like what executive order or however they say, like they overturn it, they sign it, and then that's it. I don't know. I don't know that's how that works. Yeah. So
well, ma'am, I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come and
this
hang
is
out
my
at the
first
lounge with
podcast. It
me.
was fun.
Oh, it was good conversation. It was really good to hear your backstory, the background, and what you do on your day-to-day basis. Nurse practitioners are definitely God sent. Okay. Because I feel like they are kind of like the forefront of the doctor. Which they typically are, but they are so much needed. And one thing I love about it is the fact that you're an African American woman who is in a male dominated industry or male dominated field, and you killing this, sis.
I know. Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm telling you, okay? I'm telling you, killing it. Period. And so I know husband is proud.
Yes,
I know,
my family's proud. My husband is proud. Like I do. When I go to work, I do feel accomplished. I feel pretty good. So
that's amazing, and I love it because not only are you a woman, not only are you in a male dominated field, but I also feel like it's not enough of us as a representation for us. Does that make sense?
And I love it too. Like when I do see other minority patients and they like do a little like thank you, like a little whistle.
Yes.
Like and representation matters. Like it matters, and the kids that see me and they're like, oh, like I come in with the cute sneakers and the scrubs and this rose stethoscope. So you got a little swag to it, The kids like, oh, look at her stethoscope or look at her shoes,
Exactly.
It adds a little like a little coolness or a little swag.
Yeah.
So and I do love it when patients. Oh, thank you.
Yes.
So that is really cool. So.
I love that. It always makes me feel good whenever I feel like if there's a dentist, a doctor, a OBGYN, somebody that looks like me that I can go to. I love it. I absolutely love it. And it makes me feel so much comfortable because I feel like they can identify. They know my body a little bit better because we both melanated. Okay.
Right.
And you know what kind of, conditions follow our, ethnicity, like, the things that we go through medically, and I feel like that's another thing. I feel like, and it makes me mad, but I feel like we are the only culture that always has something. Diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. I'm like, goodness, can we just chill? Can we just be cool? Like we gotta watch what we eat, we gotta work out, we on all this medication. I said, is it because we're melanated? Okay, is it because we got a little extra?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I be so I'm so upset about it because
Hmm.
I'm just like, man, I don't hear about this in no other culture but the Black culture. Like we
Hmm.
always have something that we have to fight against, whether it is economically, whether it's medically. Like it's always something like we just can't chill.
Yeah, I never
You know
thought
what I mean?
about it that way. That's a very valid point.
Oh my gosh, like we just
Yeah.
can't chill. Like it's something always wrong with us. We are
Right.
high risk during pregnancy. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
I'm like, bruh, listen. Anybody that want to be melanated, I condone it because we dope. Okay, we cool like that.
We do.
But you don't want all these extra problems that
You don't
come
want all
with
the extra
being
stuff.
none
You
that
like,
come with being melanated.
yep.
Yeah, you don't
You
want
want
that.
us to play,
So
play sports, be actors, be actresses,
yeah,
entertain you. But when it actually comes down to the
exactly.
nitty gritty of it,
You don't want the problems.
you don't
You
want
don't want
this
the
stuff.
problems. But it's really good to see us, doctors, nurse practitioners, nurses, and things like that that look like us. It's really,
Hmm.
really good because we are a very small percentage
Hmm.
of the medical field. So to see more and more of us in those dominated fields makes me feel so good. The fact that you
Absolutely.
took time out to go to school, to study, to take the courses, and to take the exams, to get certified, and to
Hmm.
actually be in position. That's dope.
It is dope. It is pretty cool.
That's dope.
I like this, and I like my other girlfriends too, who are also, they went back to school and they graduated, and
Yes. See, look at
I
you
just love it. I love it
inspiring.
for us. I love it
Okay,
for us.
look at you inspiring and
I love
stuff.
it for us.
Listen,
Yep.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And it's good to have a group of women in a circle like that.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I mean? To where y'all touching and inspiring and, motivating one
absolutely.
another. That's amazing. And I love that. And I hope to see, them ladies in other different fields. So
Oh yeah,
it's phenomenal. And
yeah.
hopefully in the future, you decide to go back
Okay,
and get your doctorates.
okay. I'll think about it. I'll
No
think about
pressure. No pressure. I don't mean to, give you a little nudge. I'm just saying,
it.
you're halfway there.
I am halfway there. I guess like another 2 years and
See? You know what I mean?
another 2 years
Halfway
and then
there.
so.
So it's a good idea.
Yeah.
But thank you so much. This will not
Thank
be the
you for
last time I
having
invite you.
me.
Of course. It's been a pleasure. It's been a very long time since I've seen you. I think I
Yes.
get a little hint of what's going on vacations when you're on vacations, kicking it and having
Yeah.
fun. And so I'm like, okay, look at Michelle. She kicking it. You're having fun. Okay. Do you, girl, do you. But this will
We
not be the
trying,
first
man. Trying to
time.
live this life.
Listen, because we only get one.
Let me get one. I'm trying to live this
Okay. And these
life.
years is flying by.
They
We'll be
are.
40 before we know it.
Oh, girl. Don't remind me.
Because I always tell myself I'm going to be 30 again. So I'm going to be 30 for the first 5 years.
Okay.
And then once I hit 35, then we'll see where I want to go from there.
Okay.
Because my 30s, I've been having a lot of fun. So
Oh yeah, 30. I think my 20s where I was struggling, trying to figure out what I want to do with
yeah,
myself, my career,
yeah,
money, so forth, so forth. And then my 30s I
yes.
actually hit like the
It's like a
blessings. And
light bulb went off.
I'm starting to see them now. I'm starting to see I used to
Uh-huh.
work for in my 20s. Like it's starting to come to fruition and manifest itself. So I'm definitely
Yes.
happy
My
and
30s have
proud.
been amazing. From the age of 30 up
Mm-hmm.
until now has been amazing. And I'll be 35 in June. And
Okay.
well, I'll be 30/35.
And
Yep, 30
yeah.
slash 35. They have been amazing,
Mm-hmm.
amazing, amazing. And I'm really starting to see God really show up in a big way.
Absolutely,
Show up in a
absolutely.
big way. But ma'am, this will not be the first or last time I invite you to the lounge. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for taking time out of your day to just come hang with me, come have an open dialogue and open
Yes,
conversation with me
ma'am.
about the medical field. You've been a nurse practitioner and all of that good stuff. Is there anything else you want to say before I let you go?
Oh no, I'm good. This has been a pleasure. I hope to come back and do
Yes,
a little
ma'am.
more. So this was fun.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Give the husband and son my love
Yes,
and
you
your mom and your
too.
dad. I
You
absolutely
too.
will. I'm going to let you go enjoy the rest of your day
You too.
and don't work too hard. And I will be talking to you soon.
Yes, ma'am. Bye. Thank
All righty.
you.
You're welcome. Bye bye.